play this for a couple reasons. One is I don't think you age. You're forever young. You haven't aged at all.
Well,
you haven't.
Neither have you.
You haven't. And then Rod Stewart was a favorite of my Aunt Irene, and I don't know why. It just hit me to do that. I don't know if Aunt Irene's around or not. This is I always love when you're around because I think people get nervous. Yeah.
Always.
So I went over.
Can that be a pro? Is when I walk into a room and men go like this?
Yes.
That sounds so horrible.
No,
that sounds horrible.
Amazing, actually. But I said earlier, and you said to me that I think this is a great time, and I said I think many people are seeking answers. And I based that on the fact my mother was here. My son graduated college was the same weekend as Mother's Day weekend, and my mom is a level 3 Reiki.
I love it.
Yeah, who doesn't sometimes like buy into the whole thing herself. Like,
what?
I don't know. No, she buys into it, but when it comes to her, like her person, she gets all the weird human stuff. And I go, get, what are you doing? Get out of your own head. But we went over to, they were having a psychic fair at Iron Smoke. There was a line out and down the parking lot. Yeah. I mean, it was incredible. The readings were taking forever. And I always think people are seeking answers. So I have questions because I'm not sure where. I'll tell you what my belief. I believe a belief is just a thought you think over and over, right? That's really all a belief is by definition. And I think that, and I was telling you that when I watched the eclipse, even though it was very cloudy here, and it's funny, my mom came up for that as well. And I'm watching it and I go, boy, we live wrong. We make it this hard thing. You know, the old Shakespearean what he wrote, Shakespearean quote of you're but a player who struts and frets his hour upon the stage and then is heard no more, which basically means you got a bunch of drama and then you die, right? You get caught up in all the bullshit and then you die. You're heard no more. And that's not the purpose. And I always think, like, I believe when you die, all resistance is gone. And it's just bliss.
Done.
And all that stuff is just gone. And so we're not here in this form. We're not here, but you're around. You're around. Your energy. Energy is eternal. That's been proven scientifically. You are energy. And this is a world of vibrations. And you can have or be or do anything you want. But you have to kind of tap into it. So here's where my weird stuff comes in. Because I started to tell you, like, I have this weird group that I get together with, and it's like once a month or so. And there's a lot of strange things that have happened in this group, but it's all really brilliant, highly educated people. And so the idea that some people will say there are multiple timelines, right? Okay. So, well, let me go back a little bit because I'm even going to confuse myself. I believe that there's anything you want
is yours.
Yeah.
I agree.
Okay, it's done.
I agree.
It's done.
That's manifestation.
Okay. So great. So now it's done and it's over here in the vortex. Or let's put it into an analogy that people can understand. It's in the cloud.
Done.
Okay. How do I get it out of the cloud? Well, I got to get the right computer. I got to get the right device. I got to get on the right vibration.
Right.
Okay. So, and I don't believe that you wouldn't want all the food you're going to eat for the entire year right now.
Right.
That's part of the journey.
100%.
Okay. So when people are coming seeking answers, right? And I want this today, and you've put things in your, I'll call it the cloud, your vortex, the cloud, that'll go 10 lifetimes. Mm-hmm. You couldn't live it all in 10 lifetimes,
right.
All the things, because you're always wanting. And contrast is a wonderful thing because it tells you what you do want and what you don't want.
Right.
Okay. So when people come to you and start asking and seeking answers and have questions and you tell them, and let's say it's something that they didn't like or don't want to hear necessarily, is it possible that you can change it a little bit to say, okay, there's the contrast. I know what I don't want, and I know what I do want, and I'm going to go over here. Or is it done? Because there are those that say everything is already done. But what I wonder is it's already done, and if I line up with it, I can have it out of the cloud. but I also want this over here. And if I line up with it, I can have that over the cloud. And that's where some people will tell you there's multiple timelines, and you'll hear about, if you get into the really, for lack of a better term and a lack of vocabulary, called the deep weird.
Right.
The deep weird people will say they can skip timelines. There's somebody who goes around on YouTube saying, I didn't know how to play piano, but I went back in my timeline and I took lessons, and here I am today. And who knows, right? I mean, we can say this guy's a complete kook and nut, but I don't know. That's my thing. Is my biggest answer these days is I don't know. I don't know.
But that's the best, right? Because we're going to seek answers, because we're going to keep looking till we find answers. This is my thought process.
Okay.
I think there are our destiny in the cloud. Okay. I think manifestation is accepting, adapting to, we're not in control of timeline.
Yes.
We just have to align ourselves.
Yes.
We all know what the highest vibration is when we get the best and the highest. We feel the best. So
well, it's always that when you're in the zone. I try to say for
athletes,
they're in the zone. That is your highest vibration.
100%. Let's call it the zone.
Yeah.
When you're in the zone, you know you're going to get what you want.
Yes.
I think back to reincarnation, when you say, okay, I'm going to pick this body, because I'm going to overcome this. I'm going to be stronger, but I have all these tools right here that I'm going to pull and get. And so when I meet my soulmate, I'm going to get to meet my soulmate, but it's going to be on the time that I chose it to be on the time, not the time I want three-dimensionally.
Yes.
Right. So it's like all this thing, but you got to be ready. So when clients come to me and they say, you know, I need to find my soulmate. I need to X, Y, and Z, and I need it yesterday.
Yes.
You're never going to get it. Right. You're living in the past.
Right.
You're lowering your vibration because you're pissed that you didn't get it when you wanted to get it. You can't live like that.
No.
So what I always say is, say it out loud. I'm ready for my soulmate. Don't say I want tall, dark, and handsome. Don't say I want the pretty blonde, the 5'9".
Tall, dark, and handsome. I like to think that's me and Dilf.
It is Dilf. But when I was asking for my soulmate, I had to surrender. I had to surrender that my choices, everything that I had done so far didn't get me where I wanted. And I knew in my soul I wasn't done. I knew that I had more to offer in a relationship. I'd been through a divorce. I think I told you that. So I would walk around out loud saying, I'm ready for my next chapter. I'm ready for my soulmate. One, because I wanted to align my vibration with what I knew was coming. Two, because I had to tell myself, conscious, release.
Yes.
You can't be in control. Your ego is your worst enemy. So when I'm talking to my clients and they're like, you know what, I really want this job. And, you know, I've been trying for this job forever. And they told me they're going to give it to me on May 1st. And now it's September. I don't understand what I did wrong. You didn't do anything wrong. It's just not time. Because if they had given it to you at May 1st, you wouldn't have been ready. Right. But whatever you've done between now and September to prepare yourself for this job, now the universe is like, okay, this is when it's going to be the best for you.
It's so funny you're saying this because I do a lot of weird stuff.
Same.
I do a lot of weird, like weird by other comparison. Like just for I think more the challenge of it, I take a cold shower and I have a timer. So I'm up to 1 minute and 52 seconds. I'm trying to get to 3 minutes in the cold shower, but I just go up a couple seconds each week. So I'm up to 1 minute 52. I was very proud of myself. I make sure I exercise, but I meditate for 15 minutes. And that's really, I find very hard at times, but I usually concentrate on my breathing or a sound in the room, and that's it. And then I'll think if a thought comes in, it's like my iPad. I just flip it away, flip it away, flip it away.
I put mine in a cardboard box.
Okay. So, okay, very similar. So I try to do that, and I sometimes come out of there, and sometimes thought comes in, and I go, well, I know that's not me.
Right.
So I think it's source or something, right? So all these things, and then I do wonder when you are lining up with things. I think I don't know. I'm starting to ramble here, but I think we try too hard to figure it out on our own, and you can get there
for sure
by hard work and grind. But those are words that are ugly, and people don't like them. Right. But when you have inspired work, you'll work forever. And you'll still get there, and you'll be happier. And who wants to be around the dick?
Right.
Who wants to be around the grumpy asshole?
Right.
Nobody.
That's that high vibration.
Right. So I always think like going for getting ready to be ready to be ready.
Yeah.
Is what I always think.
Perfect.
Get ready to be ready to be ready. And how do I do that? By going for the better feeling thought. If something doesn't feel right, I try to then, and not easy because I was often, you would hear people go, well, you just got to be positive. Positivity. Well, fuck you. Yeah. I'm sorry. You can't flip it like that. But what I can do is I can go from feeling like shit to, you know what? I actually did lose 5 pounds. And my belt did go a smaller thing, and I walked 3 miles today, and you can go up the emotional scale to the better feeling thought. And that's really where your wins are going to be. And when you stay there, that's where it is. And I think then you can find, and I think a lot of times what you do is probably get people to try to shine a light on that path, or someone's trying to shine a light on that path for someone.
For sure. It's getting out of your own head. I always tell everybody, celebrate the small victories, because we miss them, right? We're always, I should have done better. I didn't do it right. That'll keep you down here. You're never going to get it right. 100%. Yeah. So, my whole thing is, I'm a large woman, hate exercise with a passion. Okay. I do not have that gene, no matter how hard. But my brain says if I just move, I'll be okay. Yeah. So as I'm moving, I'm like, oh my God, I'm moving. I'm doing movement, because I sit at my desk all day if I'm not at a show. But my brain somehow is wired to say movement. And then I'm like, oh, I'm raising my vibration because I'm moving. I'm moving. But in my mind, I'm not like, I'm walking 19 minutes because I got exercise. I'm moving because I feel good, and I'm going to listen to the birds, and I'm going to feel really great, and I'm going to live in the moment, right? So I just have to rewire my brain. I have chills.
This is what I think. And I'm so, because I'm telling you, there are people who are going, what the fuck is he saying?
I know, and I love it.
He's crazy. You can't. And I'm going, no, you can. And if you actually when you focus on things, okay, so probably the biggest thing and I wonder if it's the biggest question you get, money, somehow financially related. I don't know if that's true or not.
That's not my biggest.
Okay.
Everyone asks, what's their purpose?
What's their purpose?
That's actually a bigger to me than money.
Really?
Because money is energy. It's frequency.
Well, that's what I think.
If you want money, it's coming.
I think that too. Yes. And I think, but we block it.
Of course.
I don't have enough. I can't. And, I even had, I have a bunch of things going on, right? I mean, my life took a dramatic twist. And I wanted to go to the Rolling Stones. I thought I'd go last weekend, and then all of a sudden something didn't work. And my brother calls me and goes, hey, let's go to the Stones in Cleveland. And I'm like, awesome. And then I'm supposed to go on this trip and money and this and that. And I went, screw it. And I started to go, you know what? It is going to be there. And here's what I really believe. Here's what I really, really believe. And have you heard of Bashar? I don't know Bashar well.
No.
Okay. So Bashar is supposedly, again, somebody who wanted to be a conduit. And Bashar, supposedly, I had heard about this person, so I looked him up on TikTok, and I found these little TikTok things. And it was a lot of what you and I have said here already. The weird part is, he's supposedly an entity from 300 light years away from another planet who is looking at us and seeing how we live and trying to say the human experience is, you're doing it wrong, and here's the right way to do it. But I have always believed that there were a couple things that I look back, that the universe will support you in whatever you believe.
I agree.
It's a mirror. So if you want to believe that you have a lack of money, you will be supported in that. I think you are loved so unconditionally. And this is a thing that I think human beings are, I've argued this argument with people, but I think that they are incapable of unconditional love.
Of course.
I just do. I think there's always the condition somewhere, right?
Yeah.
And it's silly, but it's so and funny. People go, I don't, but I think the human beings aren't. But I think the universe loves you so unconditionally that you will be supported in whatever you want. I think your inner being may not align with the fact that you believe there's a lack of money. That's why you feel shitty.
Huge, yes.
But when you have that belief, you're supported in it.
Yes, I agree.
It's like a mirror. Frown, it frowns back. Smile, it smiles back. And if you start to change a little bit and just believe that everything's okay, that it is, the universe puts nothing in it that it can't support.
Agreed. I agree.
I just think
I've lived it.
I know. That's why I was so excited. I was nervous you wouldn't come in.
Well, of course I'm coming. I'm always coming when you ask. Yes, I lived it. That's how we got the show. That's how we got to where we are. That's how we moved to Texas. That's how I never. And like you, I don't know, whatever.
I wobble a lot.
I'm fully transparent. So I wing it. I wing so much stuff because my gut says yes, and I believe in all of that. And how can I sit here and preach to you and tell you if you do X, Y, and Z, you're going to get it, and then not do it myself?
Right.
When Mike wanted to move to Texas, he said, this feels like home. And, I made the joke. I'm like, bro, everybody's bro. I'm like, bro, this is why people have timeshares. Everybody on vacation loves it. He's like, no, Jenny, I really feel it. So I can't dismiss his intuition. So we came home on May 1st. We decided, hey, you know what? If we're supposed to be in Texas and we're aligning with Texas, let us know. Show us what we're supposed to do. We sold everything in 4 months, picked up and moved.
Yeah,
Who does that?
Nobody.
Right.
No,
and he said,
but
Jay,
again,
I thought we had another year.
But if you said to people, this is what we're going to do, it comes back to my analogy of Jesus in that, well, you're crazy. It's never going to work. You're going to hate the South. It's too hot. They're very conservative. They're never going to like it. Your kids play hockey. They don't play hockey in the South. I mean, this is, am I wrong?
We've heard everything.
I'm sure. But yet.
We're thriving.
Yes. That's it. Yes.
We've defied all the rules. We broke them all.
This is my point. And your energy is so wonderfully high and contagious.
Well, thank you.
And just, but that I think that is part of it. Because even for you, you know, there are couples who this ends them.
Right.
I'm not moving away from where my family is. This was my home. It's the only home I've ever known, blah, blah, blah. You didn't do that. No. You just went, good adventure.
Because he's my soulmate, right? We're soulmates. So there's no, you can't piss me off well enough because we're going to work through it. We're going to be together. But if he's telling me, hey, I'm hurting and I need out, then we're out. Yeah. Right? Do you know what? I don't know, but it's so funny because other people have said the same thing. I sold my lake house that my grandparents built, 39 years of my life. But he's my best friend. Like, we got to go. Yeah. And that's just material. Yes. How do I not know we're going to have the best lake house of our life in Texas? Maybe that was just supposed to be for this part of my life. Yeah. And it's so small of me to think like, I have to have this because I've had it for 39 years. You know what I realized? Those were my grandparents' memories. They weren't mine. Yeah. I was trying to keep my dead grandparents' memories alive. How can I not ignore him and my kids?
So that is where I have said, I've said to people, like, you go, sometimes, this will really bother some people, but sometimes relationships, jobs, homes, things are like a car. And
of course,
this car fits my life now, right? I drove a minivan. It doesn't fit my life now. I didn't like it. I wanted to get on to something else. And so I leave and I get into a different car and I get into a different car. And I know it's a very simple, based analogy, which really almost, to some people, cheapens life. But I think it's something that you can see, right? I had the Corvette when I only had 2 people in my life, right? And now I have a family and I'm driving an SUV or whatever it is. But because of, just like you're saying, different stages of life. That was then, this is now.
But I love that you're saying that because to me, spiritually, that tells me you're growing. We all know people who don't grow. Yeah. We all know people who are stuck, want to grow, don't put the work in, don't want to do it. When bad things happen at them, it's worse. It gets worse and worse. Yes. You're saying, okay, I can't drive my Veta anymore because now I have a family. That's okay. You leveled up. Yeah. You're supposed to be a dad. You're supposed to, right? It's when we're leveling up. If you're not leveling up and changing and you're stuck here, you're never going to find happiness.
I always believe. Okay, now we get back to another weird thing. You ready for more weird?
Yes, I love weird.
Here comes more weird. I believe that the universe is always expanding.
Agreed.
We don't come here and start over.
Okay.
And I say that in that we're not back being hunter-gatherers again. We're here and everything is building upon what has been built.
Agreed.
Right? You know, we had Steve Jobs. We can credit him maybe for the problem of that fact that everybody's face is in the phone and they're getting hit by cars and kids aren't paying attention to us anymore.
Yes,
and all that.
Agreed.
That's all fine. I'm just saying, like, but everything from there expands and builds.
Agreed.
And I believe that the universe is ever expanding, and I believe that the creation and the creator or whatever source is always expanding. So I think with you have to look at your life as that way as well. If you're going to tune in, tap in, tune on, turn on, whatever it is, you've got to be able to expand.
100%.
Be open to that.
And it's always changing. You know, I tell my clients now, I started mentoring and I'm teaching some workshops and they're like, well, how did you get to this point? And I said, well, this is how I got to the point, but I'm not done. Like, my point isn't done. Right. I'm still growing every single day, just like you. Yes. But I feel like people are like, oh, now that you're a medium, I'm like, whoa.
There's never an
end. I'm not done.
Right. Well, I always say this. This is what I've come to believe. Because we can all beat ourselves up about a lot of things. You've been divorced. I'm legally separated. We have all these things. But I would say that we never get it wrong. We just never get it done.
Agreed.
And if you try to get it done, you won't.
Agreed.
So it's ever expanding.
Can I say one thing? My husband's going to not be happy with me about this, but going back to changing dimensions and quantum leaping, whatever you want to call it, I got to tell you this just because I don't think I've said it publicly on the air. Sorry, babe. So I met my first husband at a wedding. He was a Scorpio.
Okay.
And yada, yada, we get married. It doesn't work out. I meet my soulmate at a wedding and he's a Scorpio. Who does that twice in one lifetime?
Yeah.
So did I just jump timelines?
I don't know.
Right. Did I just jump to know? And wait, I had 2 boys with my first and 2 boys with my second. It's crazy. Did I jump timelines?
Yeah.
Did I just say, I know this is coming, so I'm just going to do it because I want it here and now? Or did I do it because I was destined to do it? I mean, this is where I struggle with that. But who says that in their lifetime?
I don't know.
That's the craziest shit, right?
Well, that's the thing is, and I don't know if the jumping timelines, but let me ask you something, because you talk about Mike being your soulmate.
Yes, sir.
And I'm sure that you get many relationship questions.
Always.
And I would think that people probably come to you and go, is this the right one? Or I'm married and this is this going to be? And is there a definitive answer? Because sometimes I think that, yes, like the car, maybe you've driven it far enough and it's time to get into a new car. Maybe. But I don't know that you have to give up on anything. I don't think the universe is telling you give up on something. I think you have to align with the best of anybody. I've come to almost believe in segment intending. How fucking weird you get me. You're making me admit things I've never admitted.
I just did 2 on the air, by the way.
Yeah, but the segment intending would be like anytime someone enters the room, it's a new segment. So what are the positive attributes of that person that I want to pull forth? Even if they're a person that I've never, they're always such a pain in the ass and blah, blah. Okay, but there's got to be, what are the positive attributes of that person? And then if I focus on that, I would guarantee that I get that more than I get the other.
You mean like us having this conversation now and then moving on to the next thing in your life?
Yes, yeah.
What if I feel the same way, but I didn't like your term?
You don't have to like my term. That's why we're having a discussion.
So in my mind,
that's why I'm open to this. This is why I said to you, like,
in my mind, I'm like, cool. I'm going to Bill Moran. It's gonna be great. He's got great energy. He's gonna ask me the coolest questions. And then in my mind, it's like, I close the book chapter and I start another chapter because when I leave here, I'm going to do something else. I feel the same thing.
Yes.
I also feel like every moment of every day, I'm supposed to learn from it and I'm supposed to grow.
Yes.
So we're supposed to be having this conversation. I also think it's destined that we're supposed to be here right now having this because you're learning and I'm learning. Plus, we're both raising each other's vibrations.
Right.
Right? It's the coolest thing. Yeah. Plus, we're asking for it. I want to get stronger. I want to raise it. But you're agreed when I leave here, then I'm going to go to my next thing and say, okay, what am I going to get from that?
Right.
How am I going to make that the best interaction? Same thing.
Yes.
You just messed me up with your words.
Yeah, well, right. And I call it segment intending and pulling forth the best attributes. But
same.
So back to like the relationship thing. If somebody says, and you go, well, like it looks like it's not going to work out or whatever, and I'm sure that something is telling you that. Could somebody then go back and go, oh, I don't know that I necessarily align up with that exactly. I see it, but what if I come over here a little bit and I start to focus on the positive attribute? Can things be fixed or changed in your mind, or no? Or is it definitive in that, and that's it? And this is where I said to you earlier, I'm not trying to trap you. I don't know the answer. So
you're good. I'm good.
not trying to, some people, they go, well, gotcha, she couldn't answer that one. I don't know.
Oh, no, I always have an answer.
Yes.
I'm just checking with spirit. Did you see me go like this?
Yes, I did.
This is me checking with spirit.
Okay.
So this is my answer. Let me start with soulmates.
Okay.
I think we have more than one in every lifetime. Yeah. Soulmate means you've just walked on this earth before in a past life, and y'all have agreed to do it again.
Okay.
So it could be brother, it could be dog, it could be cat. They're all souls. I don't care. It could be mom. It can be your spouse. There's more than one.
Yeah.
It could be your best friend.
Yeah.
It just means you've walked together and you've agreed to do it again. It's like a soul contract. I think that there is more than one soulmate for everyone on earth. Do I think everyone finds them? No.
Right.
Do I think free will plays a role? Yes.
That was the other thing.
That's why I feel, I'm getting to when you're saying like, so if somebody comes to me and says, am I in the right relationship? 90% of the time, they already know the answer.
Yeah, I would think they do too.
But every single one of us want validation.
Okay.
All of us do.
Right.
And knowing that I can connect with their past loved ones and I can see from heaven that I'm never going to give them a bad answer. So I will say this. I have a lot of regulars, right? A lot of regulars. Sure. And so we have conversations where, you know what? I had an out. This happened in the marriage and I had an out and I chose not to stay and now it's worse. You were right. How do I change it? How do I fix it? And it's not that I was right, but when you're asking me, I'm asking spirit to say, how do I make sure this person is on their right timeline? Mm-hmm. So I give them what I see. What you do with the information, I cannot change. And that is a snapshot of right today.
Yes.
So if a year from now, you're in the same place and you didn't do anything about it, Spirit's going to be like,
right.
I can't help you because I kind of gave you some guide, but we all do it. It's like,
so if it's guidance, okay, and not a definitive, but more of a guidance, to say, you're right, you're feeling this, and if you continue this way, it will go that way, and it may be the best. I'm not here to tell you yes or no.
I tell people that all the time. I always say, listen to me, don't listen to me.
So
I'm
that's
just
very
giving you.
different. I'm so, God. Yeah. I don't know if I just got chills. Something happened. Something happened.
True.
Well, something happened because I think that a lot of times we think, okay, we hear something and go, but I don't want that, but I don't want that.
That's your ego.
Right. But then we have to step back and go, well, hang on a second. It's guidance. And clearly you were feeling this way. That's why you asked the question. So now try to step back, not have the knee-jerk reaction.
Right.
Give yourself some time and let the process play out. Let it unfold. Let it unfold, and the right answers show up. Answers show up.
I say to my clients all the time, well, whatever you've been doing on your own isn't working.
Yes.
So if you're coming to me for guidance, listen to what I have to say, because you literally have nothing to lose. If you're not happy, why can't you just listen to what I told you? Why can't you just listen to what the universe is saying?
Yes.
Because if you're reaching out, your gut is like, hey, your soul's like, I'm not super happy, but your mind's like, I'm going to overthink it and I'm going to force it.
Yes.
I know, it's crazy.
Because we've been taught to grind it out and do it. And I think that's all kind of wrong.
I agree.
I go back to nothing's been trucked in here. It's all right here.
Yes.
You have the answers and you can do this. Everything's right here. No one's there. I'll ask this. People would disagree with this, and there's too many see it, touch it, feel it, smell it examples of it. But I don't believe there's assertion. I don't believe that there's any assertion on you. Like we'll say, well, I'm under their thumb. Everything that you have, you've attracted in some way. Everything you've done. I also would say this. I don't think things come out of the blue. I think they come out of the oblivion.
Of course. Nothing in life is coincidence.
Right.
Not one
thing.
It
comes out of the oblivion. Like, I didn't see it coming, but whose fault is that?
But you asked for it.
Yes.
Let's have this conversation.
Yes.
Like, I feel like some people are like, okay, Jenny, I'm going to try to make this marriage work. And I'll say, you know what? Then I will always support. I tell everyone, and I mean this, I will support you in any way.
Yes.
I've made my own decisions that I've needed supported with. I will support you anyway. But because you're asking and saying, I need guidance, show me what I'm supposed to do. And then the worst thing happens in the relationship, they lose their mind. You asked. Right? So you're going to see it. You don't see it. You're not in control. You're saying, show me if I'm supposed to be in this relationship. And then something comes in sideways. You asked. And source, God, universe, whatever you're saying is saying, see, this isn't where you're supposed to be. But I gave you so many red flags that you didn't want to listen to. So you're getting blindsided now because you said, show me. Some people need the slap in the face.
Yeah.
I have chills right now.
Yeah. No, I think that's true. But then it also defies the idea that you are like a creator, right? We're all creators.
Right.
We all can create I mean, look around. All this stuff has been created from where? From thought to, I mean, have you ever built anything? That was one of the things I loved, like, doing radio, not so much with podcasts, but doing radio, especially when I began in the early 90s, it was just, you said it and it was done. Yeah. I had nothing tangible. I couldn't go home and go, hey, let me show you this great dick joke I told today. You understand what I'm saying? But if I hung a window, I could look at it and go, I did that, and there was real satisfaction in that.
But I disagree, because how do you know you didn't change somebody's life in that moment at the right time just because you didn't see it in front of your face?
That's a very good point, and I do remember when I was looking for jobs, like I would trying to go and grow and do things when I was in my 20s, getting a letter from somebody saying that they were contemplating suicide.
There you go.
And I told some stupid joke that made them laugh.
I have chills right now.
And they took a moment, and I used to put that as part of my package that I would send out, which I thought, now that I look back, I go, it was more of a private moment. I shouldn't just say, hey, my jokes were so funny, they'll save your life. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my God.
Like when you look at it that way.
Release that.
I know, but
because
I'm just saying. Like,
the magic is, you did it.
Yeah.
You helped somebody here who needed that energy. That's all energy. They weren't standing next to you. You weren't hugging them.
No.
It was all energy. Yes. I have chills. At the right place, at the right time, at the right moment.
Yeah.
We can't make that shit up.
No, I think like the whole world is such vibration that the argument and the old philosophical, and I did a lot of philosophy in college, the silly, very base philosophical argument, does a tree make a noise if it falls in the woods and no one's there to hear it? And the answer to me is no, because nobody's there with the tools to interpret the vibration. Therefore, there is no sound.
Right.
But if you have the tools to interpret the vibration, then yes.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's just,
see,
it's all vibration. Everything is vibration. 100%. Everything is that. Tesla knew it. Tesla had healing powers. He knew he could figure out how to heal diseases and things.
Gifted.
And people got very upset with him, and they tried to shut him down, and they didn't want you to know this. And it's just a ride, folks. It's just a ride.
Crazy. But see how fast we are to shut everybody down all the time, constantly, because we don't either want to believe it or think it.
Right.
So dumb.
It is dumb. It is.
So dumb.
I don't want to hold. I'm just looking at the time.
We're good. I'm good.
Oh, all right. I just want to do one more quick thing just to find out where you are kind of today, what's going on. We can talk about the TLC show, how that kind of came about, and what you're doing now. And I think there's more projects coming. Am I wrong?
Yes.
Okay. There are. I'm not wrong.
No.
Okay. That's wonderful. We'll get to all that next, but first.
We're fine.
Well, I don't know how parking sometimes downtown.
He'll just drop me off.